everyone, you're watching The Village Kids. I'm Marga.
I'm Erin.
I'm Annika.
Julia.
And welcome. So, as you may know, we have this podcast that we put out episodes every week.
I have something to say. This is our happy anniversary to this podcast. This is like episode 25.
Mm-hmm.
It's been half a year since we started this podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
Oh
crazy. I don't think I'd last this long, to be honest. Like me.
Same here. Here. We did it. We made it. What an achievement.
And it's not just a podcast. I mean, we started doing YouTube.
That's true.
Who would have thought, guys?
Yeah.
Happy.
Not anyone, I think. Not anyone.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we keep coming back. And so if it's your first time joining us, this is our 25th episode for our podcast. So we've had multiple episodes, some of which we had guests on for various topics. So today, we're actually going to be talking about something a little more close and personal, and that would be more on our ambitions. Everyone's got ambition, dreams, goals, and I think in a way, what we like to do here is that we like to discuss what that means to us in more of forward-looking visioning, because that's always exciting to do and see how our goals evolve over time. And I definitely, with the last year, I would say that our value systems have sort of been edited multiple times, like what we feel we want to see or what we want to work towards. It's really a no BS type of life now. And so I'm really interested to see where you guys are at in that. Because definitely whatever you're going to answer today is more or less not exactly what you're going to have later on, because later you're going to decide, oh, I would have wanted to do this differently, or maybe something a few months from now, like opportunities will come along and you're just like, wow, I really want to pursue this. And it might be a different trajectory from where you are at this point in time. So that's really interesting to see and to hear. Off the bat, what you guys think is the main thing that you guys are working towards, or what you guys think would be your next cap for your ambition? It could definitely be in the short term, doesn't necessarily need to be the long term first, but then more of the main thing right now that you're saying now.
I find that for me, career-wise, it's kind of hard, given the situation, to have goals because, there's not a lot of options unless I'm looking to do like a complete career change. Like if I was looking to change jobs, maybe like, what am I trying to say here? I don't have dreams right now.
Well, would you say that a goal of yours would be to figure out how you're gonna move away from where you are now and then going towards that thing? You can't necessarily be able to describe it, but then you're saying that it's there, you aren't aware of what it is yet. So would that be more of your cap, like you want to figure out first what the next thing is?
Yeah, maybe that's it, because right now I am in a gray area with my job, so like I'm transitioning to a new role. So I guess it's not that I don't have goals, it's just that I'm trying to see first what this new role is going to be for me before I decide if I want to stay and like progress in this role, or if I want to look for a new one. Yeah, it's more of that, I guess. I don't know, we're young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I guess to echo what you were saying, Air, how like you're in the gray area in terms of your career. I think so many of us right now, because of the pandemic, as you guys have brought up, like it's hard to have plans in general for anything. And just having recently like graduated, I've been so trained, I guess, to think in terms of like SMART goals, right? Make it as specific as possible, and so that it's easier to build up to that objective. But then to have so much uncertainty right now and kind of wipe out a lot of those plans, what I've found it easier to do during the pandemic is not to dream in like short term, but like long term. And oddly enough, like it doesn't have to be so specific anymore in terms of what I envision for my career or for where I will be. It's more of I'm now thinking of like what are my non-negotiables or like my checklists in terms of what I want out of life. And it doesn't have to be in the form of a specific job or how
Yeah.
my house will look, things like that. Because if anything, this whole point in time has brought a lot of perspective into what really makes me happy when nothing is certain or up in, and when everything else is up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just my philosophy now of dreaming and looking
Yeah.
ahead.
I
Yeah.
like that. I think like if you don't mind sharing, like what is your, because I guess that would be more of like your idea of what enough is also, because you're looking into the long term of like what you want to work towards, not necessarily specifically, but more of the state of what life you want to work towards also, right?
I think for where I'm at right now, like you mentioned earlier, that this is all bound to change, and that kind of makes it easier to dream because you're not entirely like
Yeah.
committed to it because you know it will
Yeah.
change. For now, I think something that has been consistent with me is I hope to one day be at like the stage in my life where I can live 6 months in Vancouver and 6 months somewhere else where it's warmer, because the winter months in Vancouver are something that I think I really want to escape eventually. So something that will lead me to that would be great. Another thing would be realizing, I think during the pandemic and it being difficult to start a career, would be that I don't need to make like loads and loads of cash. Like I just want to have enough money that I'll be comfortable and not have to worry about money. Like I don't have to have a mansion or things like that or the best car. And so that's something like I want to work enough so that money won't have to be a consideration.
Yeah.
But also that, okay, I think in college it's so easy to sort of start yourself on this path that other people of creating like these bars of success that other people have created, like this invisible bar that you realize is not actually your own.
Yeah.
And that's typically like in the form of internships or things along the way that are markers that like, oh, you've made it. And I think I'm still figuring out what my milestones are, because I think for most of my life I've been living by other people's milestones. So I'm still figuring out like the details, I guess. But what my day to day will look like in the future, I just want to be able to find a job that's fulfilling and that I love, but at the same time is not my life. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk in specifics about something that's so out there. But I would just really like to be able to travel and have some flexibility in that regard in terms of seasons and where I'm at. And what about you guys? That was really long-winded because I
No, I
have
think
no specific answer.
no, I think it's like really great because like from what I got from that was really that you want financial freedom, but you don't want a lot. You just want, enough to be able to
Yeah.
do the things that you're interested in. Like you also want freedom in your job to be able to, live what you would call like the best life, which means like you can choose where you are depending on the time of the year, and that
Yeah.
would be in regards to like seasons, and of course being able to travel and experience different things, and I think those are like really great goals which I can really relate to. And yeah.
I
Like flexibility and balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like I like the point that you brought up about measuring yourself up to like other people's measures of success. Because it's like in my college specifically, like there are all of these big goals, right? Like people want to be C-level like employees or like executives or want to own businesses or whatever. And it's like for the longest time, admittedly, when I was in college, I also thought of being like C-level executive or owning my own business. And I was kind of intense before in that way. But like now that I'm not in that bubble, it's now that I kind of feel more free. Like it's up to me now to decide how I want to define success, because success now, like, it's not this mold anymore that everyone has to conform to. My college friends and I actually talk about this a lot because like we agree in the way that our ideas of success are all different. Like even in my like the closest circle of friends, all of our ideas of success are different. Like there are similarities, but yeah, I feel like we're at the point in our lives now where we're just trying to poke and see like what will work for us.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
What
That's exciting
for,
too, I guess.
with that though, like for you, for what you feel at this point in time, like what does success look like for you?
I think now rather than the level, it's more of the feeling that I get. Because like it's not anymore like the number of promotions I get or like what material things I bought to like show for my successes. It's now more of like, am I happy doing what I'm doing? Do I get to do things that make me happy? Like, do I get to pursue things outside of my career, outside of like my family life that also make me happy, you know? Yeah, it's more of that. I guess COVID is just it's the situation that's changing my definition
Yeah.
of success much earlier than I thought it. Because, you know, I thought at this stage in my life I'd be living it up in the city and like, you know, having fun with friends every weekend. Can't do that. So now I have to look for like other things to make me happy. Yeah, it's basically I'm saying COVID aged me. So yeah.
What about you,
What about
Jules?
you guys? Yeah, Jules.
Um, because I agree like 100% about what you and Annika said. But yeah, for me, I think my idea of success is literally just like I've always been like a night owl, right? And then for these past few days, I've been waking up like even before 5 a.m. I think that's like little wins for me because I feel to I tried to do smart goals for the year, and then I just gave up on it. Like I can't. It's what we're going through now is so uncertain that I feel like I would be just so hard on myself if I set goals and I'm not able to attain it. I know like A and smart goals is attainable, but like it's so hard. Like I don't know how I'd be feeling that day or for if I could actually achieve it in 3 months or in five in a year or whatever. So I feel like what success is to me now is just like celebrating the smallest wins, like being able to learn a new recipe and cook it and enjoy it, and being able to finish work even before lunch, or being able to find time to talk to you guys, or having a social media break. It's just like small things for me is what I feel is success is at this point in time.
I feel
I have to
like
say, I love that.
I
I love that.
feel like because of the circumstances, it it's no longer like short term, medium term, long term. There's like this whole thing now where it's like COVID term. Like when COVID is done, which it could be short
Yeah,
in the short term, could
Yeah.
be in the medium term,
the long
could be
term.
in the long
Yeah,
term.
you never know.
Yeah. It's like, okay, in the COVID term, I'd want to travel because
Mm,
you don't know when that could be. But for sure,
yeah.
when COVID is done, I'm gonna travel like crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Feel that.
What about you, Margie?
Um, well, for me, I think just to quickly go over it, for me, because I like success, I think at this point in time, similar to like what you guys said as well, this last year, like, has really taught me more of like whatever comes my way, being able to deal with it. That's successful for me
Yeah.
because I really didn't know. I think it's a mix of uncertainty and just having to deal with it head on. Like, more of, other than the fact that I didn't have a choice but to get through it, it is more of just, I know that I need these quick wins to get to that long term vision. Like, I need to keep going, I need to stay at it. And in terms of that long term vision, it's ever evolving for me. Similar to Annika, I want to get to the point of like financial freedom and also freedom in the work that I do, but still have fulfillment. It's like you want the trifecta, that ikigai, everything like that. And it's gonna be internally driven because only you know what you really want, what really fulfills you. And I think at this point in time, I'm really drawn to like the rigor, the training, the ability to one day be credible, hopefully, in whatever I do, and to be able to just contribute. And those are really like big, grand things because I can't necessarily go into the specifics at this point on what will make me those things, right? So it's just like the everyday quick wins that will also help me get through during this COVID term. I love that term now. I'm gonna use it forever. It's just a way for me to get by. But I think going back to the why and praying about it also just helps me know that for whatever time we have here, the ambitions can at least help us get over it. Like in terms of, okay, my ambition for the day is to get through or to get to the point that I can kind of dial back and reflect on the day. Even as simple as like the day for me is something that I look forward to because that way I can look forward to the weekend or a time that I can spend with you guys and stuff like that. So I'm not really great at time management or being able to really be the holistic person that a lot of people were able to do during the pandemic. But the quick wins have definitely helped me say, no, okay, I'm not able to do everything that maybe people could have done, but I think I was able to meet little successes. Okay, that's a very long rant or monologue as to what success is for me, but I think the gist is there.
Since this is like our little like diary that we'll hopefully look back on 30 years from now, what would you guys want to be able to say about your life in 30 years from now?
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh, what do you want to be able to say about your life in 30 minutes from now, 30 years from now?
And it
That's
doesn't
how
have to be
short term
specific.
into the future I'm
Eh,
thinking. 30 minutes.
like Julia said, it can be like a feeling or 30 minutes or 30 minutes. That's fine too.
Um, the very vague sentence for me would be that I'm able to contribute to whatever it is that I throw myself into, and that I'm able to add value in people's lives. So I don't know who are the people I'll be accountable by that time. Will I
I
have a
think it's
family?
that.
Like what can I do to make their lives better? And I hope I am well equipped 30 years from now to be just that, someone to add value to other people's lives.
I'll add on to what Margie said since mine is similar. Just to be useful to society in a manner that brings me joy also. And
Oh.
aside from that, like being able to do that, but also being able to carve out time for myself outside of my usefulness and being able to fill my cup in other ways outside of work. Yeah.
For me, it would be really similar. It's that I want to say 30 years from now, I want to be able to say that I have healthy relationships with everyone around me. So like that includes friends, family, and of course like the people that I am trying to help in whatever career I find myself in, my employer if I do have one, my fellow employees or whatever. Yeah, I just want to have good relationships, healthy relationships with everyone in my life.
Yeah, that's a good one, guys. Oh, I love all of your answers. I feel like I could relate to each one of you guys. I think mine would also be the adding value, like what Marga said, add value to people's lives. I want to say that 30 years from now, I hope I have a good relationship with God, with my family for sure, and also like the people I surround myself with. I think that's what's most important to me. Like loving what I do, having a peaceful, happy relationship with the people I communicate with on a daily, and just it's so cheesy, but just like to be happy, literally. Just I just want to be happy 30 years from now and not be in another pandemic, please, please.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think what is really great about today was that just hearing from you guys, like not just necessarily your ambitions, but your perspective on what ambition looks like right now, especially given the layer of the pandemic. And it's just been really great to hear. Not only have you guys learned, for Aaron's term, aged, matured maybe over the last how many months per year, but that your value systems have also evolved, and it's really refreshing moving forward, because as all of us have echoed in the last 30 minutes is really just the fact that how we see our lives, like with the uncertainty, it's crazy because you don't know what specifically you can focus on, but you know that you can feel what is right. You can feel that, okay, this is what I want to get to, or what I want to envision my life how many decades into the future. And I think that's just really great. Definitely, we're going to be in each other's lives moving forward. And whatever that is, we're going to be definitely supporting each other through the quick wins. And as we reach those milestones that we're going to lay out for ourselves later on. And that's just so exciting, at least, that we have that forward looking way of seeing it, that not necessarily in specific, measurable, attainable, whatever goals, but rather knowing that there's still a future to hope for, to pray for, and to be better for. And so, yeah, it's really fun, guys. And I hope everyone else who's watching this got to pick up a few things also, or maybe could relate to this general feeling we have with the pandemic and our goals of the future. So, if you like this, please like, subscribe, comment if you want content similar to this, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
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 Bye.